Good evening. You're on the smoking section with Steve Helfer, and tonight I'm very happy to have a guest on, Za Beth Robinson. Za Beth, welcome to the smoking section.
Thank you, Steve.
And thank you for coming into Cambridge to be on our program. We're very honored to have you.
Thank you.
You have been a member of the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill for a long time, right? I think.
A couple of years, yes.
And what is it that you do with that program? If you
They're basically for the rights of different people who are mentally challenged. And from my childhood, I had to defend the rights of my mother and my brother, who are both mentally challenged. But it makes you strong. You become a stronger person.
You mean being an advocate?
Yes, I love being an advocate. I've spoken for different groups up at the State House, the disabled people.
Yes.
And I like being a voice.
It's a wonderful thing in our country that we have so many opportunities to be
Yes.
a voice, not just to sit on the sidelines and kvetch. And so, well, we met at a NAMI meeting, and I asked you to attend the city council hearing when they were talking about banning smoking in public parks.
Yes.
And you were very kind enough to speak up at the meeting. Do you remember some of the points you raised at the meeting?
Yes, I do.
Can you iterate those?
Well, one was three points that I made was one, were the police needing to be more on their plate per se.
Yes.
To now have to watch public smokers and give them a ticket or arrest them. Two, I made a point to the mayor. Does that mean that in City Hall they had no one who smoked? And if we found them outside smoking, could we have them arrested?
That would be in the public parks, only that they were talking about banning smoking in the public parks, right?
Okay.
And what was the third? Do you remember?
And the third one was the point I was making was in City Hall there were no smokers, there were no policemen who smoked. So because that meant that all of that body of people, the public people, would have to go to the park too. They could no longer smoke outside City Hall.
Right, because there's a small park around City Hall. So, it was really nice because for people like you who came and spoke, our city council, they went and they met us more than halfway, really.
Okay.
And they said, well, we understand what you're saying. And, you spoke, and there was a woman named Kate Lazar who ministers to the homeless people. She's a reverend here.
Oh.
And she said that, well, this could be an excuse for the police to kind of roust homeless people from the parks. So our city council was, they met us halfway, and they said, well, we'll only ban it in the very small parks.
In the small parks. And my comments also, because I was a smoker and it took me a long time to finally stop. And so that's, people can be addicted to chocolate cake every day, coffee every day.
Yes.
And the smoking. And why I defend that right is because homeless people, the mentally challenged people, that's all they have. That's all they have. And that's not fair. And speaking, if my brother being mentally challenged, he would not remember if it became really restricted, say, Monday and Wednesday you can smoke on the east side of the park. Or Friday and Sunday you can smoke on the right side of the park. He would be being arrested.
Well,
he wouldn't remember.
right now in Boston, you can get a $250 fine for having a cigarette in any park or on any beach in Boston.
Ah. Can you smoke still outside public places, restaurants and
You
clubs?
can you can smoke on sidewalks in Boston or on the street, but they banned it in all of the public parks, and this is particularly hard on, as I say, on homeless people
Yes.
and on mentally challenged people for whom smoking is such an important part of their lives.
It is.
And but there was an instance, for example, I think it was either last summer or the summer before last, where there was a mentally challenged person who was sitting in the park, and the park rangers came up, and this is Boston Common, and they told him to put out the cigarette. And he obviously was someone who needed a lot of mental help.
Yes.
And he actually stabbed 2 rangers.
Yes.
But now all he was doing was quietly sitting on a bench,
Yes.
smoking a cigarette, minding his own business.
Now, you bring up another point that supposedly, I don't know how many towns has been covered, but few towns, they've been having their police staff learn how to cope and approach mentally ill people. Now, for me, I remember that story now. I would have sat on the bench and I would have said to him, "Oh, are you enjoying the cigarette? I remember when I smoked." And I would have said, "Can you put it out really soon? Because I don't want to lose my job."
Oh, really?
If
Yes.
they see
right.
me,
Certainly.
that would have, could have, and that kind of approach
Right.
would have worked. You weren't threatening him. You sat on the bench and said, "Oh, I love my cigarettes."
Of course, one also has to question, in fact, we do, why do they need to ban or why do they need to prohibit smoking in public parks?
And that part of the park is where I grew up in the South End, and that's where, being a poor single mother on welfare, that was one of our places that we went.
Boston
to
Common.
the pond, yes.
Boston Common.
Yes.
Oh, yes, the frog pond.
Yes, and that's right up at the top of it where he was at the statue.
Right, and Boston has given a lot of tickets, and I think people talk about, for example, in many ways our society is becoming separated. People are becoming separated.
Yes.
It seems like, for example, if you're a smoker or if you're a homeless person or if you're a poor person or,
Yes.
it's like we're separating and for those of us who smoke, we feel that there is a lot of effort to stigmatize us
Yes.
and to marginalize us and to make it difficult for us to socialize.
I see I see right now 3 stages. First, in my day of smoking was everywhere. Then we went to, I made a note for myself, there were smoking sections.
Oh, right,
Like you
yes.
called the show Smoking.
The smoking
That's why I
section,
could
yeah.
relate to the title Smoking Sections.
Right.
Because in restaurants and clubs, you went to a different area for smoking section.
right.
And now we're in the stage of you're going to be, I don't know, hung? Are we going to?
Well, I mean,
the police and those in charge, I don't think they need this addition.
Well, right, they don't, but there are some very anti-tobacco forces in the world.
Yes.
And they want the United States, as a matter of fact, all countries, to ban tobacco altogether. And the way they are trying to achieve this is step by step, small steps.
Okay. In,
You know-
in Europe, aren't they more open? I think they all smoke.
No, not not anymore. That's a thing of the
Oh,
past.
that's
a thing of the
also there.
past. Yeah, I mean, for example, the first country to ban smoking in all of its bars was Ireland, as a matter of fact, which might surprise one.
I am very surprised, especially where they like their pubs and really.
Well, I think it's to a large degree it's changed the atmosphere of pubs and it's changed the atmosphere of bars here.
Okay. Now your private clubs, I don't want to mention any of your private clubs, they're allowed to smoke in them, and they smoke
Well, it depends.
cigars and everything.
Depends which country, depends which city you're in. I don't know about Boston, but in Cambridge, private clubs are not allowed to permit smoking under any circumstances. Now, Boston might be different. I know the state law in Massachusetts says that private clubs can allow smoking, but that doesn't mean cities and towns.
Okay.
Now, your brother, how is your brother doing these days, if you don't mind me asking?
He had a sad passing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it had to do with one of his medical issues that that's another big issue. No one wants to confront it.
Right, and was that in recent years, or?
Yes, only 2 years ago.
Oh, really? So probably, your brother passed since the time we last met, I think, because we met a couple of years ago.
Yes, no, it was before we met.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
it was before we met. But
Now, what did tobacco mean to your brother when he was...
oh, it was, here's what I learned. If you're on medications, I can only speak for the mentally challenged, but maybe some of the homeless people are on certain medications.
Right. Well, I have a friend who is profoundly schizophrenic, and he is
That's what my
required by
mother
law...
and brother was.
He is required by law to get an injection of, I assume it's Haldol or some very powerful antipsychotic medication.
There was no injections, but the point that I learned was how my brother explained it, which who else would know how to explain it better than someone who walks in those shoes and is on that journey, because a lot of your medications are to calm you down.
Yes.
So they're always looking for a boost. And the boost comes in cigarettes, because it gets your nicotine, boosted up. And also like certain sodas, they're looking for that boost.
And he found it in tobacco, and
Yes.
did he enjoy his tobacco? I mean, was
Oh,
this a
he
pleasure
really,
for him?
really, yes. And for the early years, because he lived with me most of those years, smoking didn't seem to bother anyone in the house, but that was at the point that it was not a healthy, we've learned a lot. And then
Yes.
he started going out, and then because of health reasons, we did get, I don't want to mention the name, but certain things, and he finally had to stop the smoking.
Now, did he miss smoking when he stopped?
Oh yes.
He did miss
Oh
it.
yes, and now since he's passed, I wish I wasn't so strict because he lived with me. I took care of him.
Yes.
I wish now I allowed him a couple of cigarettes a day.
Really? Yeah, I know. It's well, I mean, because that's one thing that I've come to the conclusion of is that if you give up smoking, let's say, and let's say your health might improve, or let's say you might live a couple more years.
Yes.
But if it's a deprived life, if it's something you miss,
Yes.
and if it takes out one of because I think our lives
Yes.
are composed of a lot of small pleasures.
Yes, stages. Yes,
Well,
small pleasures.
Like this coffee I'm drinking now.
Yes. Oh, let me toast to you, Steve, for the new year. Thank you for being your guest.
And like my coffee and my cigarette in the morning.
That makes your day.
And I have a roommate, and he gets up, and he has a cigarette and a coffee, and then I have a friend of mine who comes over and visits for breakfast.
Yes.
He comes over almost every day.
And what does he have?
And well, he just has breakfast. He has that. But we all sit there smoke. The three of us sit there smoking.
Okay.
And the apartment, I ventilate the apartment fairly well. Just have the windows slightly open.
Okay.
And we're not all in the apartment all day smoking all day. And it's it's especially nice, Za Beth, is when the sun is coming in the windows.
Yes.
and you see the smoke kind of curling up.
Yes, yes.
You know, like undulating.
Yes, I remember
you know.
that, yes.
And, you know, and we're having a grand old time, you know what I mean? And we're not drinking, and we're not getting uproarious. We're, you know, and it's not as if we don't get up from the table and, you know, go to work or do whatever we have to do.
Yes.
But, you know, tobacco means a lot to a lot of people.
It does. It really does. It was not easy for me to stop. I had smoked for many, 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 many years.
How old were you when you started?
Oh, teens. In my teens. And I stopped in 90. But I want to
That's
share.
a long time ago now,
I
yeah.
want to share a funny story.
Please.
In the 80s, I couldn't afford, but the local hospital had someone come in, and there was a program how to stop smoking.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
And he made us laugh, and we're allowed to smoke our cigarette while we're in this
Oh,
group.
is that right? Oh,
And he
gosh,
said to us,
yes.
"Okay, how many of you smoke when you're depressed?" The hands went up. "How many of you smoke when you're happy?"
Right.
"How many of you smoke when it's raining?" And we all started laughing. In other words, you smoke for any reason.
Yes.
And he says, "Okay, now this is in the day when your kitchen phone, it was plugged into the walls." Your
Oh, I remember that, sure.
All right, you remember
Of course.
those?
Of course, yes.
So another thing he said to us, "Okay, your phone's ringing in the kitchen, but your cigarettes are in the other room. Where do you go first?"
Well, you know, one of the
Where?
reasons...
You go get your cigarettes.
No, one of the reasons for that is because I think smoking, like for example, when I talk on the phone, smoking always enhances the experience. I mean, it enhances every experience
Yes,
almost.
yes.
I can't think of a single thing that isn't better when you're smoking.
Now
when
it
you,
sounds
when you're doing
like
it
one of your favorite moments with your cigarette is the morning, because we went through those stages too. Okay, who has to have a cigarette after a meal? Who gets up during the middle of the night and has to light up
Right.
a cigarette?
Yeah.
And mine, what I would, if we were out for dinner and you lit up a cigarette, then I would light up one, but that wasn't, my big attachment was, how do you get on the phone without a cigarette? That was mine.
Right.
That was
You
my
know, well,
hardest one.
so the Cambridge Citizens for Smokers' Rights is a small group here, and we are politically active. You know, we were,
Okay.
I think, we were very active vis-a-vis the park smoking ban, and we have a Facebook page. Listen, we
I'll
have
sign up.
we have a phone call. Should we take a phone call?
Ooh, do we dare?
Yes. Well, sometimes, you know,
Okay.
sometimes we get crank calls.
Will it be the mayor?
No. Well, might be.
Cranking us?
Who knows? Sometimes it might be. You know, we get crank calls here, so
Okay.
prepare yourself.
Alrighty.
You're on the smoking section.
Hello, Steve.
Well, this is my good friend Paul Neff.
Hello,
And
Paul.
Za Beth, I don't know if Paul.
Following your conversation there.
Yes.
And what you were saying there about the in the morning, the smoke curling up
Oh gosh, yes.
in the sunlight, how nice that is.
There's nothing more beautiful.
Right. Well, I can remember, you know, my grandparents' place was always kind of hazy, and it's kind of cool. And then later on in the 70s, there was, me and my brother used to go to Alston to see these young women that we liked.
Yes.
And every time we go over there, it was nice and hazy and everything, and there was like no big pressure to limit it. And I think that's a good attitude, and I'll bet it'll come back.
I hope so. What do you think, Za Beth? Do you think that smoking is, we're going to end this war on smoking and
Well,
that people will be more relaxed?
aside that it's not healthy for you, and people who know that they're passing of some disease or whatever, I don't blame them when they say, "Can I have another cigarette before I pass away?" Because they figure
Amen.
they're in the
Amen.
stage of
Yeah.
it doesn't matter anymore. But I think public places, I think they have rights too.
You mean non-smokers?
No, the smoking.
Oh, the
They have
smokers.
rights too.
Smokers.
Yes, smokers.
Well, what are
Smoking
they?
sections
Oh,
should
right.
be allowed.
Steve.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like we have the right to not judge ourselves by those standards. Like, you know, a long time ago, I just like stopped trying to limit myself, and thanks to you going to New Hampshire, it makes it more affordable.
I'm a cigarette smuggler.
Really.
I'm a cigarette smuggler.
I know this. I know that very well because I get cigarettes for people.
Oh, do you go up to New Hampshire? Oh, you live on the border.
I'm not far from New Hampshire.
Well, you know.
And I can't mention the other place in New England.
Well, maybe you and Paul should get
Should I say
together.
it?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
It is at the. Should I say? At the.
Just between us, okay? Go ahead.
Okay, just between us, at all your military bases, which I'm a member of, they also have good prices on their cigarettes.
Yeah, but you can't just walk on.
No, you have to have an ID and say I was to bring you and you're my companion. When we go through the gate, I have to show my military ID. And then in the stores, you can pick out whatever you want to buy, including
Yeah.
your cigarettes, but
Right.
I have to pay for them because you have to show your military
Well, Paul,
ID.
maybe you and Za Beth should get together then, huh?
That sounds pretty good.
Paul is living on a very limited income. Thanks
Oh,
for...
you are? Paul,
Yeah.
call him later. I'll be glad to be your supplier.
I go to New Hampshire, yeah. I'm a professional cigarette smuggler, and I go to
Yes.
New Hampshire. Paul, any more comments or questions?
Just, you know, I go through 4 cartons a month, I figure.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's fair. It's modest.
Is that two? I was up to 2 packs a day. What do you do?
About a pack and a half,
Oh, all right.
sometimes 2.
Okay.
But anyways, thanks. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for calling, Paul.
Thank you.
Paul is is a very able spokesperson for. He's very much interested in individual rights of all sorts.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I try to, Cambridge Citizens for Smokers' Rights. We have Paul is a member, but Paul has other views and so forth. But what we try to do is we try to stick to one issue.
Yes.
So, for example, I don't take, when I'm representing in Cambridge Citizens for Smokers' Rights, I don't take a position on marijuana, immigration, the presidential election. Ooh. Nothing. We stay out of that because we just want to make
Focus.
it. Well, we think that people who smoke, and there are about 35 million Americans who smoke, adults, are being bullied and being, and we think that this is extremely unacceptable. Now we got another call. My bet is it's Paul, but we'll try it again. Should we try it again?
Oh, sure.
You don't mind getting multiple calls from the same person?
No. As long
Here
as
we go.
they're nice.
You're on the smoking section.
Hi, Stephen. It's Jim.
Hey, Jim, long time no hear.
I know. Hi,
Hi,
Tibet.
Jim.
Nice to hear from you. I also have mental illness.
Ah.
Yeah, and Steve, for a long time, right, for a couple of months, I was craving like tobacco.
Yes.
Or nicotine.
Right.
And 3 months ago, when I seen you in Central Square.
Yeah, that was the first time I knew. I didn't know what you looked like. Yes.
Yes. A month before that, I picked up a pipe.
Oh, good for you.
A pipe. I love pipes.
Yeah, and
I love pipes.
I got it at Lebanon and Pierce. I
It's
just want
right
to give
here.
a shout out to Lebanon and Pierce. They're the best.
It's right here, Jim.
That's a nice one.
This is a very
looking to
nice
get another
pipe.
one. I'm getting another one.
I
when
have
get my
one.
check, see.
I have one.
That's
all
real
right.
nice. Where did you get that at Lebanon and Pierce, Steve?
I got this from a guy who is a kind of a pipe collector.
Oh.
And unfortunately, he made a big mistake and he let people persuade him not to smoke anymore.
Okay.
And he was selling his pipes. So I think he sold me this one, which is $30, which is not bad. That's not expensive.
No, I have one that has
Oh, that's a
faces.
nice looking one for 30.
Well,
Yeah, I paid a little bit more for mine. But anyways, it is relaxing, Steve.
It is. It
It is
is.
relaxing. I just finished the bowl. That's why it took me a little while to call you. I
just
don't get
finished
on the
what?
phone when
What's that?
when I'm smoking, and I don't hold the conversation outside either.
And you need
I like
less.
to focus.
And you need less
You know?
meds.
Listen, no, you'll need less meds. Listen,
I
Jim,
buy the cherry blend.
do you get that at
Ooh.
Levitt and Pierce?
Yes,
Oh, good.
yes. They're very nice there. Very, very nice there. And the tobacco is reasonable, especially because it's really good quality tobacco. You buy that other stuff anywhere else, it's garbage.
Oh.
You know, I bought some cheap stuff and I wound up throwing it away.
Okay,
So
well, listen.
I buy 5 ounces at a time,
Wow,
and
that's a
I
good
keep it
quantity.
in the freezer.
Huh.
And I take a little bit out each day, and I spread it on my end table and let it dry out.
Oh, really?
All right.
You know, and then I put it back in my pouch, the plastic seal, and sometimes it makes my lip a little sore, so I lay off it for the day until it heals up. You know,
Yeah.
but
Jim, before you go,
it was a choice. It was a choice this
Yes.
time, Steve.
That's a good
But
choice.
I have two thoughts before we get off. Sometimes you can still buy a roll your own cigarettes.
And those are cheaper
It's
too.
really cheaper, but I just thought of a place. It's in the North End. It's one of the cafes, and downstairs.
Oh, yeah, sure. Cafe
they-
Victoria, I think.
Yes, and
Jim,
downstairs
we're on
they
a-
have a cigar shop, and you can smoke all you want.
Jim, we gotta go. We're up against the end of the show. Jimmy, thank you for calling.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your pipe smoking. Thank you for being on, Za Beth.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much. I hope we inspire.